Hello and welcome to the Kerbal Space Program tutorial series. In this episode we're going to show you how to reach orbit. It's a relatively simple process when you know how to do it, but if you don't know it can be very complicated and daunting. So today is how to get to orbit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the VAB. We're going to pick up a standard issue ship off the shelf that Squad has given us called the Kerbal X. It's a nice ship, Kerbal X. It's a crude ship, actually. Kerbal X, there we go. So let's just pick it up. There it is. It's nice. It's a big ship. It's massively overpowered for what we need, but we're going to do it just to show you how it works. You only need around 3,500 Delta V. I always go with 4,000 for safety, but you know, it's all you really need. Actually, let's just see. Do they still have the little tiny ship? A Z-map satellite? Yes, please. That's the one. This little ship has enough to get to orbit and extra. It's a small ship, so we'll start with this one just to show you how to get into space. So this one first, a Z-map satellite unmanned probe ship. So let's load it onto the launch pad and get it out there. Okay. So the launch is very simple in most of these. You want to get full throttle initially, and then to make sure you get off the ground. If you've got SRBs, you probably don't need full throttle, but you can try it. I usually start with a full so that you don't fall back into the ground. If it is heavy, if it does turn out to be much lighter than you expect it to be, you can always throttle back. So that's always a good way of doing it. Now, second thing that you can do is, I'm going to explain it as we go, but it's basically just don't turn too hard because you'll flip over, and if you flip over then you can't recover very easily, and if you're flipping over, chances are it's because either your rocket's too long, bulky at the top, or it has fins near the top. If fins are near the top, they actually, the way these work in the game, not in real life, in the game, is instead of causing streamlined air flow across them like it does in real life, they actually cause drag. So they cause drag at the back and cause the back end to stay into the bottom of the wind. If you put them at the top, they cause drag at the top and they'll cause it to flip over. So be aware of that when you're placing your fins on your craft. Don't put them high up. Okay, so first thing, full throttle. SAS is on. I always do SAS during launches. It just makes life so much easier. Spacebar to light the engine. Spacebar to release the clamps based on this staging here. And then, yeah, so staging lights the engine. Staging releases the clamps and lights those. Second staging releases them. Blah, 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 blah. Up and up we go. Okay, and engine number 1, fire. Engine number 2, fire. And up we go. And throttle back immediately. And we don't need to be going too fast. Look at that. There we go. We're still accelerating way above what we need to, so we throttle right back down. And the way I do it personally is at 100 meters per second, I start to tilt over just about 10 degrees. All you need. Just tap the button if it's starting to wobble too much. But there we go. Now we're at 10 degrees. Perfect, perfect. Hold 10 degrees ish. We can keep tapping if you want to. And it's just about keep doing that until you reach about 10 kilometers, really. SRB's running out, full throttle up, drop the SRBs with a spacebar. It's a bit of a frustrating cluster thing initially, but there you go. So it's just about doing that. Don't allow your ship to go above 300 meters per second below 10k. Once you hit 10k, you want to be rolling over much harder. So we're only holding about 10-20 degrees right now, and that's perfectly fine for what we're doing. We hit 10k, there we go. I'm going to roll up to 45 degrees, that's just here. So roll the ship to 45 degrees. And do it slowly so the yellow bar follows you. If you go too far, remember you will flip. Hold 45 degrees and the ship will just go by itself. Now you don't have to do this until either you reach orbit or orbital last piece. Now up here we have a mod that tells us the accurate apoaps. You can find that from the map, and you can do this by coming here, holding your cursor over that and watching it, or click on it once and click it like that. There you go, and it just stays there. It's great, but I much prefer to fly my craft from here and use the mod to let it do its job. Now the mod, it doesn't have any effect on the ship itself, it's just literally speed, so that's at 29. We need this to reach 70, we want to be burning around this part in the entire burn process. Once you're at 45 degrees, you do not need to change your position on burn at all. Not at all. Just keep burning there and everything will go fine. Now, we are burning, that's our fuel gauge there, we are burning our fuel nicely, as you can see in our tank, it is draining. And we are going now. You see the yellow ball is moving down the line. That will happen as you start to lose, but as you're gaining more horizontal velocity and losing vertical, that will happen. We are producing a bit of heat as well, but we're at 63. Now I'm going to let it burn up to about 75. 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let's 80. I like 80. 80 and cut the throttle with X. And now we're floating in space. Perfect. Now, the thing is, let's just put ourselves onto a prograde just to hold that for a few minutes. This craft doesn't have much on the lines of SAS, reaction control. It does have some, but it mostly relies upon its fins in the atmosphere. Once it's into space, it really doesn't have much capability. it actually almost requires the engine itself for the gimbaling. Because it is a gimbal engine. So that's fine. But we are in space, we are going up, and we are heading to 80 kilometers high. We currently have a periaps of minus 501. That means that our orbit is decaying, basically. Well, it's not decaying, it's more not an orbit. We're going to go up, and we're going to come straight down again. What we need to do is, around this point, start building our engine. Now, you can, if you want to, if you have time, set up a maneuver node, drag it out, wait until the orbit is maintained, the periaps, and go to the side, and as it goes around, it'll come around again. There we go. And you can do that, and that'll tell you that you need to burn for 41 seconds. You've got 51 seconds till then, so it tells you roughly when to burn half that, remember? So 41, 21, burn at 20, and you'll be fine, and that will work. That will work. You don't need that, however, because the way you can do it is just watch the vertical speed. And also keep an eye on this. So I will show you the other way of doing it, and the maneuver node will really help you out. But the other way of doing it, which is what a lot of people prefer to do when they get used to it, but I'll show you anyway, is as you burn here, 30 seconds, let's turn that on to stability assist. Good, 26 seconds, 25, 24, let's keep an eye on that, and then we start to burn about now, because we're approaching it pretty quickly. Burn, and keep, see how it's holding 20 seconds right now? 19, you want to keep it at around, the closer to 0 is the better, it's more efficient, but never ever let it get into negatives. But always keep an eye on your fuel levels, because if they hit 0, then you're going to lose throttle. And we actually should be running out of fuel very, very soon. We're actually losing the prograde right now. We have perhaps, and there we go. We have lost it. So drop it, follow the engine up, and aim it back up again. Always keep it pointing up. And there he goes. Okay, we are starting to lose it. It's about 17 seconds ahead of us. 18 seconds. Don't let it too far ahead, remember. 19, start burning down a little bit. Oh, it's coming towards us. It's going away. And okay, we are now at 0. We're zooming out. And you can see that we almost have an orbit. Just slightly burn forward now. And you can see how it's the two swap places. There we go. These are the periaps and your apoaps. When they swap places, that means they're equal. They will actually, you always have one near you and one on the far side. And as they get further and further away, they'll actually switch places. So when they swap, that's when you hit orbit. If you just look at our apoaps and periaps, they're 83 and 81. We are in orbit, and it's that simple. It is literally simple. Just burn forwards and angle. Go straight up until about 100 meters per second. Then angle over slowly to 10 degrees, and maintain 10 degrees until you hit around 5 kilometers. Then you can start engine a bit more, and then when you hit 10 kilometers, you want to be doing 45 degrees. And once you hit 45 degrees, you do not release it. Keep it going 45 degrees, and that'll get you into space. When you hit space, when you hit 70 kilometers or above, is officially space, and you're done. It's nice and simple. But just to sort of go through it again, we're going to head into the Space Center. I'm going to launch the Kerbal X. Now, the Kerbal X, again, is a ship designed to go to the moon. So it's going to have more than enough fuel to get where we need it to go. But it's a more complex ship, so we'll show you how it works. We probably could build a ship later on, but for now we're just going to go into the how to launch. This is what this episode is about. So the Kerbal X is a manned craft. So there we go. Let's just pop it straight onto the pad, and we'll see it launch. Okay, so and there we go. So there's the Kerbal X in all its mighty glory. This is a moon ship, don't forget. So full throttle, SAS on with T, and Z is your full throttle, T is your SAS. Fire your engines to space, all the engines will light, and then we release the clamps. And then these are what's called, is it asparagus staging, or is it just, yes, this is asparagus staging. What this means is when we burn the engines, looking at this, that one will drain, and then we drop it. Then that one will drain, and then we drop it. And then that one will drain, then we drop it, and then we're on the center tank then that will drain, and when that's drained, we then drop that. So it's a more efficient way of doing it because you're dropping dead weight as you go. So rather than carrying the engine, which can't fire anymore, or the fuel tanks, which are empty, we drop them when they're gone. So let's just do that. We can prepare to launch, and 3, 2, 1, launch, and launch. Up we go, and immediately we keep an eye on the speed counter. When you hit 100 meters per second, that's my personal view. Obviously, there are different ways of doing it, but I prefer 100 meters per second. And begin rotation. Some crafts like this one are very, very sensitive, so we just want to roll over slowly. Don't go too far again, because you will cause the ship to flip and we burn. We've got the first set of engines, they are now run out. Just keep an eye on the staging here, you see. This is a more complex ship, but this is a ship you'll have by stock. And drop that one. Hey! And there we go. Now we're at 5 kilometers. Now we're going to start pitching over a bit more, about 20 degrees, 25 degrees. Come on, let's get that pitched over. Bum, 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 bum. We're keeping it close to that yellow marker as we can. We're going to pull the yellow marker across. There we go. Now, we are going a little bit too fast right now. We can tell by the heat effects are building up. Now we've hit 10k, drop those engines because they are empty. And we will roll the ship even more. Remember, we're going for 45 degrees. Don't go too far. You will flip the ship. Even somebody who's an expert, like Scott Manley, will flip a ship at that. But he can recover those ships. I'm not an expert. I just know how to do the launches. And you will eventually have to learn how to recover a ship that's flipped. It happens to all of us at some point. But it's not the best way. The other thing is, by the way, this little red light just means that you can't deploy those parachutes without them exploding. Okay, so we're burning the engine, we're at 45 degrees, we're hands off, and we're just riding up until the apoapse hits 70. We're going to go again with 80, because I do like 80. We are getting some thermal shock down the ship now, the red flames, that's just because we're above a certain speed, and engines off. Once again, we're engines off now. We just roll the ship forward. Now, we keep an eye on our stats here, and there's the ship. Oh, nice. Now, this ship doesn't appear to have any batteries or solar panels I can see. So, electric charge could be an issue. Oh, it's got a pretty decent battery there, and it has a solar panel there. Always something to watch out for when you're building your ships. If you run out of power, you're actually able to shut down. Okay. So, now we're on that little bit. We can head into the map, and again, we can see the blue line is us. The grey line, by the way, is the satellite we launched earlier. And we can see how it is going quite nicely. 1 minute 20 to get to the launch. If we just go back into the ship, and we can see here on the mod, by the way, time to apoapse is 1 minute 14, so you can do it all from in here. In fact, we're going to do this one from here, I think. Bring it up, and we'll just get a warning about physics because I've tried to go to a faster run. And okay, then about 20 seconds we'll start burning the engine. It's always good for about 20 seconds. Let's just turn that off. It's always good to do it about 20 seconds. It gives you an idea if you need longer. And if you do, then fine. Okay, throttle the engine up. And 14 seconds. We can hold 14 seconds. Okay, I'm going to go a bit closer to the height. There we go. Okay, we are 12. Let's pop back into here. So this, actually, what most people will be using is this bit here. And put it to there. And just keep burning 13 seconds. We keep a look at the nav ball. Just keep as close to that as we can. To the actual horizon and the yellow line, and keep burning. We're 14 seconds and burning strong, and 15 seconds. So we're getting a little bit further away. So let's aim down a little bit. Let's bring that periaps back to ourselves. Sorry, and off. They flip location. We are in space. 2 orbits, nice and quick. No problem there. Okay, so we now have a ship in orbit. Let's just lock its SAS in place, and there we go. With this ship, we will be using this ship for something else in the future, so I'm going to leave it in space. I'm not going to deorbit like I did last time, but there we go. We have one ship in orbit. We have a satellite in orbit, which we press is not nearby. Press M, and there's a satellite. We can just switch over to it for a second. Switch to, and there's a little satellite in orbit. No, isn't it cute? Oh, a little cute satellite. Let's just because I feel like it. Let's. My mistake. Yeah, it's not close. I hit the wrong button. It's number 1. I remember now. 1. Ah. Oh, they open. Oh, I did that one. And open. There we go. And the satellite dish is all open. We can just get this guy to turn. See, this guy has no reaction wheels, really. So that's fine. And I think we're done. So I'm just switch back to the main ship because that's the one that's important and also one that looks most pretty in the air. Space. So there we go. There's our ship all looking pretty in space. And yeah, okay. So, ow, ow. So, orbit. Make sure you got a good thrust to weight ratio. You need 3,500 meters per second of delta V. That's fuel burn change in velocity. You need at least 300, 500. I usually go for 4,000 for safety, gives you a little bit of leeway in case you lose any from overspeeding or dragging stuff. Go straight up until 100 meters per second. At 100 meters per second, you want to roll over 10 degrees. At around 4 or 5 kilometers, you want to roll over to about 20 degrees. And when you hit 10 kilometers, you want to roll over to 45 degrees. Once you hit 45 degrees, just hold 45 degrees until you hit an altitude of around 70 kilometers or above. Once you hit 70 or above, shut the engines down and just glide the rest of the way. If you are aiming for a space station, for example, it's 100 kilometers, it's actually best to go straight to 100 and then circularize at 100. So it's always best to go immediately to your target altitude. That's just the best way of doing it. But once you get to your space, lean the ship over to the horizon. Wait until about 20 seconds-ish until the apoapse comes close to you. Then burn your engines and just see if it counts down. If it's counting down, aim into the sky a little bit. If it's counting down, aim to the sky to try and extend it away from yourself and buy yourself more time. If it's counting up rapidly, shut the engine down and wait a bit longer. You can always, if you're really on top of it and it's still counting up, just aim down a little bit and that will help you. I hope that helps people get into space. I really do, and we'll progress on later on. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I will answer them in the next video. But until then, comments in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.